I just want to read, just for the sake of clarifying. Even Yerusha, this is from somebody who obviously doesn't necessarily agree with this approach. Even Yerusha doesn't mean the son can marry his mother. He's not the father. The relationship of Yerusha itself is a decision within atzmut, which is the source of deeper than the Bechira. The Rebbe says that neshama is kavayachal ein zach mit atzmut yisbarach. The neshama is one with atzmut, not chas v'shalom that it is atzmut. Please learn Tanya Perek Beis with the Biurim and the source that emphasize that the neshama is chelik nivdal min ha'etzem. God li, not chas v'shalom God.
Let me just make an observation about that. The Lashon in Tanya is chelik elokah mima'al mamish, not chelik elokus. If it had said chelik elokus, then that would be correct. You're godly, you're not God. But the way to say that is elokus, is godliness. When you say elokah, you mean him. It's a noun, pronoun. So we are a chelik of him, not a chelik of godliness. And that's why the big chiddush, powerful statement of the Baal Shem Tov, Kishata tefes b'miktzosei, ata tefes b'kulei. Because they're an inseparable etzem.
Not optional.
Not optional. But again, here's the mistake people are making. Optional means nobody forced him. Doesn't mean he has other options. So it's volitional, not optional. There's such a huge difference. So you say, no, you can't force the Eibishter, nobody forced him. Of course nobody forced him. That doesn't mean that he had an option to choose Klippa over Torah. It's a terrible mistake. So far we have like this. There's Malkeinu, there's Beirenu. What is our connection with the Eibishter? Well, he's our creator. Without him we wouldn't exist. Okay, strong connection. Our very existence comes from his creating us. But there's something a little more personal than that. He is Malkeinu. Malkeinu means we elect him, we coronate him, we relate to him, not as our creator, but as our king. Which you could say is, he is our creator, means we can't exist without him. He is our king means nothing happens without him. Okay, our king is a little more personal than our creator. Then it's Avinu, much more personal than Malkeinu. But even Avinu is not the highest connection. There's also Ata B'chartanu. And B'chartanu means there really was no choice. That's called Bechira Chofshi.
Not once he decided.
No, a decision that is free of any influence is essential to the chooser. That's called atzmut. Essential means it's essential. Can't be any other way. So as soon as you use the word atzmut, can't be any other way. Then we find a chiddush where the Rebbe says, even Bechira is not the highest level of our connection. We are more connected than Bechira. How much more connected can you be? You already said he is Becher, and the Bechira comes from atzmut, which means there can't be any other choice. So it's Becher ba'ama Yisrael, because it can't be any other way. That's not the highest level of connection. So the Rebbe says, no, it's not the highest level. Because even though there was no other realistic possibility, you're still saying he chose. which kind of implies something other than myself. So even if you say the choice came from atzmus, but there's a choice, that's not a complete kul echad. So there's a level higher even than a choice that is an atzmi. What that means, how can it be more atzmi than atzmi, more in the Eibishter himself, where there are no madregas, you can have more or deeper. So I'm not sure exactly what that explanation is, but we do know that there is atzmus, and pnimius ha'atzmus. So, yeah, there are degrees in atzmus itself. Just like Torah and Yidden are both atzmus, and yet the Yidden come before Torah. So this is what we're going to learn here. Where do we begin? Page 26?
Yeah.
Okay. That's page, in the Sikha, it's page 180. It's Parshas Pinchas, Sikha Aleph. Aber afal pikein is eich bochar banu in Jonne, wo der Eberster kleibt dieser Sach, was ist kavejochel nicht It is not him, so to speak. Warum der Geder von Kleiben? Because the very notion of choice is bescheiches zu a zweiter Sach. Es ist nur a des Sibas, ha-Bechire is nicht mitzad Meiles ha-Dover ha-Nifcher, nor der Rotzen u-Bechiras ha-Becher. You're saying that the choice comes from the etzem of the Eibishter. This is just him. But you're saying that there was a choice. Masha'en ken Yerusha Seinu, but the level of Yerusha Seinu in the list of connections, Ashreinu Matev Chelkeinu Manerim Geirolenu Mayofa Yerusha Seinu. The level of Yerusha Seinu is in Yonei, was Eden seinen Keviyochel ein Zach mit atzmus sei Yisbarich. Yisrael v'kutchabricha kul echad, greater than the Bechira. Der Verbund von Eden mit dem Eibishten is in atzmus Yisbarich, was is hecher von welcher es ist Tnua shel Tzimtzum. Before there is any Tzimtzum, before there is any description, before there is any activity which would be a Tzimtzum, the Eibishter and Eden are already connected. Und der Pfarrer wird es angerufen b'shem Yerusha. This is implied in the word Yerusha, an inheritance, weil das der Gede von Yerusha, wo der Yerush ist mit b'mokim ha-Meirish, der Pfarrer, was is, der etzem ha-Meirish. Why is it that a child inherits without doing anything, without any activity, without any deservingness? Because you're an extension of the Father, so what belongs to the Father belongs to the Son. Automatically. So, die drei Inyonim in der Hiskashtus von Eden mit den Eibishten. So these three levels, Chelkeinu, Geirolenu, Yerusha Seinu, seine verbunden bechlolles mit die drei klolles dicke Tkufes von Am Yisrael. There are different times in history when each of these connections was revealed. They always exist, but when was it revealed? So, for example, there's one stage of Kaidem Matan Torah, the connection of the Eibishter with Eden before Torah was given. Then there's the connection that came about as a result of the Torah being given. There's man von Avedas Yisrael B'kiyam HaTorah Mitzvahs. when Eden was serving Hashem with all the mitzvahs. And then number 3, la'osid lavei, there's man hagmul, the time when we get the reward, biz tzatachlis hashleima shebezeh, including the ultimate reward. V'yesh leimer habir in them. Eich far Matan Torah zijn in Eden angerufen geworden bonim. The level of bonim atem l'Hashem Elokeichem, this existed even before Matan Torah. Because we see by Yitzias Mitzrayim, the Eibishter says, B'ni b'chayri Yisrael, which is before Matan Torah, gestanden begilui the Meile von Eden legabe alle umeis ha'olam. Jews were different from all other nations, which is why there was Yitzias Mitzrayim. Lakachas loy goy mikerev goy. Aber das als gewen a Meile in Zeir Metzias und Aveda. There was something about Yidden that connected them to the Eibishter like children to a father, but that describes only the uniqueness of the Jews. Bei Matan Torah is nizgali geworden der Inyan von uvonu bacharta mikolam veloshen bechiras HaKadosh Baruch Hu in Am Yisrael. So before Matan Torah, we knew that there was something special about the Yidden compared to other nations, that Yidden related to the Eibishter differently. We didn't know how the Eibishter relates to us. That was revealed in Matan Torah. Ata b'chartanu. Now we're describing something about the Eibishter, not about ourselves. Der Pfarrer hat sich das ausgedrückt in der Sinas HaTorah v'Mitzvos zu Eden. Because the Eibishter chooses Yidden, that's why he gave us the mitzvahs. In other words, the reason he took us out of Mitzrayim is because there's something about us. The reason he gave us the Torah is because there's something about him that he chooses us. Und in dem bestanden der Reifte von Matan Torah mitzvahs, schon nicht nur bei Matan Torah, legabe der Aveda von Eden, der Oveis, before Matan Torah. Lifnei Matan Torah, der Aveda von Eden gewinn gemosten, Leut keach anivra. Wiffel anivra ken der Griechen mit der eigene keches. The greatness of the Oves is how close a human being can bring himself to the Eibishter. Vashenke bei Matan Torah, was nos an lono es Torah sei, is in the Torah mitzvahs veranen der keach habeire. Since this is the Eibishter's Torah, the connection that we have to the Eibishter through mitzvahs is divine, not human. Le'achre gemar kiyama Torah mitzvahs, when we complete our Aveda in Torah and mitzvahs, in other words, when Mashiach comes, wird bei Eden is gale werden sehr atzmi is dike meile, ma yofa Yerusha seinu, der Inyan von Nachalo, as Eden zenen chad kiviyochel met atzmut yizborech. So if there are 3 madregas, how would that line up? Number 1, how godly can a human being be out of their own milas and efforts? Number 2, how godly can the Eibishter make Yidden? And number 3, nothing has to make the connection, not milmata l'mayla and not milmayla l'mata. We are already connected by etzem, even without Torah and mitzvahs.
Kaviyachol.
What does he say in 63? The la'osid love leitia hamshacha b'derech mashpia makabel ki im begili ha'atzmus mamish. In la'osid love, in olam haba, there won't be a giver and a receiver. In a giver and a receiver, you can have these 2 directions. Either the makabel is oila to the mashpia, or the mashpia is yeda to the makabel. Each one has a maila, and each one is powerful, whatever. But lo asid lovei, there'll be no giving and receiving because it's hainohach. And that's why mitzvahs beteles, the Eibishter won't have to tell us what to do, because if you tell, it means there's a difference between the teller and the listener. But lo asid lovei, there'll be no distance between the Eibishter and Eden, so there'll be no need to even say, I want you to do a mitzvah, because it'll happen automatically. And that is the kul echad. The conclusion on page 27. Masha ein kein der Geder von Yerusha Seinu ist verbunden mit Atzmusei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Was dorten sagt man, o ben einloi. That is a level where the relationship of a ben cannot reach. Hecher from welchen es is inyen shechutz hemenu afile bederech bechira. Und dorten seinen Eden mushrash Yisrael v'kutshbricha kul echad. I mean, it's rather obvious. He's not saying that the bechira brings that relationship, because that relationship is higher than the bechira, which means it's prior to the bechira. So this whole notion that the connection to atzmut is after a bechira is completely senseless. If there needs to be a bechira, then it's not atzmut. To make atzmut a result of bechira, it doesn't make sense. You can't become essential. The word essential means nothing. Let's see what footnote 73. On the words, das wat der Eibishter is Becher in Eden, idach aber der Teichen in habechire, was is in Zee Becher, as Zee sollen sein Bonim. We're saying that the level of Bechira is higher than the level of Bonim. In a sense, the Bechira is that they should be Bonim. Not the Bechira is that they should be connected. It's a lower Madrega. The Bechira lowers itself to the level of Bonim. So it's like, say, the Shtalshalis. So now, on those words, the Rebbe says, Elo she'einei nitfas bozeh. Ki mekiven shehasiba lozeh shehem bonov, hi harotzen bahem, v'lei ki bebechinas chalkeinu, shehasiba lerotzen d'HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'Yisrael lefi sheYisrael hem bonim, v'hu yizbarich hu avinu, v'rotzen zeh hu hechrachi, ki v'yachol, ma she'ein kim bebechinas geirolenu. The beginners machshava zu mitzad atzmai he mufshetes mitzuras haben. Kiven she lamayla mitoyer av v'rak mitzad rotzen u'bechiras HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'Yisrael nas Yisrael bonov yizbarich v'nechke kotzuroson b'loshen harav HaMagid gam b'machshava zu v'lochen einei nitfus b'zeh. There's a difference between saying we are his children or he is Beicher that we should be his children. If you say there's something about Yidden that make them the Eibishter's children, that sounds like it's imposed on him. How can you not be my father when I have the Mila of Banim? So it's almost like imposed. Like, how can you not be my father? I'm your son. But when you say, no, the Eibishter was Beicher that we should be his children. If he's Beicher, then it's given freely, not nitfas.
So nitfas translated means imposed. Nothing's imposed on him. Nothing traps.
He's not trapped in it, but that doesn't mean that it can be some other way. It means since it comes from a free option, then he is not locked into it like against his will. It is his will. So again, it's volitional. It's not optional. So what is he saying? The connection to the Eibishter is endless. There's no limit. You cannot say that at some point the relationship ends. If you go up high enough, we're not connected. To say that goes against everything that Hasidus is all about. So one of the ways of getting things right is that before you sit down to learn a Maimer, you have to know what is Hasidus trying to accomplish. It's like before you sit down to learn Shulchan Aruch, do you know what you're looking at? What are you going to get by learning Shulchan Aruch? If you're not oriented, if you're not focused, you're not going to get it. Like you walk away from learning Shulchan Aruch and you don't put on tefillin. You just learned Hilchas Tefillin. And you walk away and you don't put on tefillin. Why? Because you didn't study it for its purpose. The purpose of Shulchan Aruch is to tell you how to put on the tefillin. No, you didn't think of it that way. You were learning Shulchan Aruch out of curiosity of what tefillin are. If you want to know what tefillin are, look in the Gemara and in Medrash. Don't open a Shulchan Aruch. If you're opening a Shulchan Aruch, you know you're looking for instruction, not wisdom. You're looking for halacha. If you open up a medrash, do you know what to expect? Open up a maimer, what are you expecting? If you're expecting that the maimer will tell you how far you are from the Eibishter, how disconnected you are, how unreachable the Eibishter is, sorry, you're reading the wrong book. Maybe you should learn Musar. The whole point of Teiras HaBaal Shem Tov is that Avos Yisrael is the essence of everything, and that Rachmana Liba Boi, and that the Eibishter is closer to you than you can imagine. So if you're learning a Maimer, and it seems to you that the Maimer is saying that you can never get close to the Eibishter, go read something else. So if you're getting the impression that the Maimer is saying how disconnected we are, you got to stop and say, whoa, 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 whoa. This can't be right. Can't be right. This is not what Chassidus is all about.
But like you said before, it goes through degrees of atzmut. That's where it gets tricky. Degrees of atzmut means just when you think something is one with atzmut or part of atzmut, then it's like, whoa, no, there's a whole other degree. That's what throws.
We are closer than anything you can imagine. That's what Chassidus is trying to tell you.
But not
to tell you you can't get any closer than this, that's not Chassidus.
Like you were saying before, like who came first or who's mikadma, the Yidden or Torah. So
Yeah.
it seems like Torah is not as close to the Eibusher as Yidden are.
Right. So what is the Maimon telling you? That you are closer to the Eibusher, even closer than Torah and mitzvahs. That sounds like Chassidus.
So it lowers Torah. I'm just saying that some of the push we got from people that Torah is a darga, so that you seem to be like agreeing with that.
Right. Okay. So it is a bit of a puzzle. How can there be dargas in atzmut?
Right. That's what.
But there are.
There are dargas in atzmut.
Yes. Because Torah is atzmut, and Yidden are atzmut.
But if there's no option to choose one of the, like it's him, that was the whole sort of build-up that we're saying that this is him. So there are no. I'm saying dargas usually means optional in a certain sense. Levels. There's him, and then there's lower levels, or
No, dargas means how the essence is expressed or revealed. More revealed, less revealed.
oh, okay. So Torah and Yidden are atzmos. They're literally part of him. They're not optional. But then how they are revealed, that could be in stages or levels.
Right, because they're revealed even to the lowest of all stages.
Gotcha. Okay, I think that was a good clarification. Sure. I'm glad I got that.
And why can it be revealed to all levels, including the lowest? Because it's atzmos.
Okay.
Right? A high madrege cannot be revealed in lower places. It's an oxymoron. If it's high, it can't be low. But since the Eibishter is neither high nor low, because he's atzmos, he's just himself, himself can be high, himself can be low. And he happens to like the low.
And the word kaviyachal, that every time it mentions kaviyachal, I know this is important for the viewers.
The word kaviyachal means it's much more than you think, not less. Kaviyachal doesn't mean not really.
Right. It means much more.
It means much more. As if there's a comparison.